Holistic Humans, what's up? This is Kenan. And I'm excited today because I've got a new topic, new series that I want to introduce to you guys. It's called Financially Fit Fridays. And so, in Financially Fit Friday, what we're going to start doing is educating people and providing value to you guys so that you can be able to, take some of the topics that I discuss and, hopefully one day we can talk about it amongst each other and, you can share it with people. Particularly right now, I feel like financial fitness and financial education is important because of the current economic standing in the world right now, particularly in the United States, but everywhere across the globe. And so right now, you know, as we know, like recessions, it can be tough times for individuals and families. Particularly like if you're like in the middle class and lower class. Um, Personally, I'm middle class, well, like lower middle class, somewhere in there. And, you know, just like the types of things, the types of issues that we're running into as far as like inflation is going up, like prices are going up, but, you know, our wages are kind of staying the same. And so, that's what this video is about today. I'm here to, provide some insight for us to be able to combat that and use our brains, use our creative minds to be able to become financially fit. And so that's what today is about. Okay. So here are some steps that you can take to prepare yourself and manage your finances during these times. Okay. So, basically just like, and also to give you guys a little bit of background, like now I'm living like by myself, so like it's more of a challenge for me. Um, and it's given me like a lot of introspective thought and a lot of opportunity for growth. And so I feel like this finance area is something that we could all grow in. Um, because there's a lot of us that um, can grow from this area, and hopefully, people will come in that actually, you know, are really financially fit. People that have a lot of finances, like they're adequate and abundant in their finances. And we all are, but it's more of a mindset shift. So what I'm trying to get us to do is, you know, get into that mindset shift, right? So that we can, just make things happen and live this holistic human lifestyle to the fullest. All right, so let's jump right in. The inflation concerns. So there's been like a lot of talk about inflation and the recession. And recently, the consumer price index rose by 0.6% in March. And so like what that means is that the overall price of actual items has increased by that percentage amount. So basically, like if you've gone to, like, I remember inflation started like a while ago, like as soon as the pandemic happened and stuff like that. But if you go to like somewhere, like let's say like you go to McDonald's, and I just noticed it yesterday, like I just got a fry, like a medium fry is like $3.60 now. And I remember like it was not like that before the pandemic. Like medium fry was probably like half that, but it's just been accumulating over the times. And so basically, like, that just means that from the previous month as well, um, this has just been a large jump. So that 6% um, is the largest in nearly a decade. And so that's something to be mindful of. Um, who knows what's in store as far as the recession goes. And but who knows what's in store as far as the recession goes and how long it will take for the inflation to subside. But what we do know is that this is a time for you to be a little more strategic and a little more mindful of your financial decisions. And so that goes into my next topic, building an emergency fund. So this is something that I have been working on. Um, and pretty much the guidelines for building the emergency fund is to cover at least 3 to 6 months of your living expenses. So that includes like rent, gas, food, um, and even like a little bit of fun. Like don't like just a little bit. I know that you're preparing for the emergency fund, but if you can factor that into your budget, that would be phenomenal. Okay, so that's something that we can start up on. We could start by just saving a little bit every paycheck, and then making it so that you're living below your means. So let's say, I don't know, let's say you get like, if you're in my age range and you still like, you just got out of college and you're making like a okay job or whatever, you get like $1,200 per paycheck. Just start to live below your means, especially if you still live with your parents. Live below your means. So I read this article a while back, and it was saying that this is a very aggressive investing strategy. I think it was on NerdWallet, and it was saying that you should use 50% of your earnings for savings, or no, 50% for investing. Yeah, investing in savings, and then 30% for needs and 20% for wants. So I mean, when you think about it like that, man, that's very aggressive. But I wouldn't say do all of that. I would just say, break it down by like something a little more feasible is to do, if you can, uh 25, 25, and okay, and so what I'm here to talk about is okay, back to the 50-30-20 rule. So according to this article in Citizens Bank, the 50-30-20 rule is 50% goes to needs, 30% goes to wants, and 20% goes to savings. So you can flip that around to whatever your comfortability may be. One of the things that particularly interests me, and this is not financial advice, but flipping it and doing 50% needs, 30% savings, and 20% want. Now, if you break it down like that, based off of a $1,200 paycheck, I believe that 30% of 1,200 is probably about, what is that? I'm trying to do the math. I was like, okay, 30 cent. Okay, 1/4 of 12 is 3. So it'll probably be like $350, something like that, right? So $350 you save each paycheck. All right. So now you got that. Then the rest you divvy it up based off of your needs. So you know that your needs is every paycheck is 50% of that. That's $600. And then the wants is $250. Yeah, I did that right. Okay, cool. But yeah, man. So you do that, and then you should be good to go for that. And this goes a little bit further. So the budgeting for the needs, you got let me see. This says rent, mortgage, car payment, groceries, insurance, healthcare, minimum debt payment, and utilities. And then the needs category does not include items that you can honestly live without, such as cable or Netflix. Unfortunately, these will go into wants. And so, just keeping things like that in mind, okay? Now, number 2, cutting back on unnecessary expenses. So during the recession that we're in, and recessions in general, it's important to cut back on unnecessary expenses. So, things like if you have like an excess subscription that you don't use, like, um, I don't know, like a gym membership that you like don't use, like, or like, you know, you should just work out with me on Holistic Human. I provide some decent workouts, beginner, intermediate, advanced level. So you can just work out at home. Or like a streaming service. If you feel like you need to take a break for a streaming service, so, you can take a break from that. Eating out. And like this is one of those things that like I realized I felt like eating out was just like something that, I needed. I'm not gonna say like I needed to do, but it was just something that I was just doing because I was like really lazy. But it adds up, man. Just like think about like when I go to Costco and I get my groceries, like that entire bill is probably like, and this is gonna last me for at least, I'll say at least if I really stretch it like 2 weeks, it's at least gonna last me a week. So my total bill usually ends up being around like $150, right? And so you put that together for like an entire month, that's like between $400 to $600, depending on what I decide to actually ultimately do. And so that's why I'm saying like, eating out is just one of those things because basically every meal, like if you eat out, like if you eat out every meal, like if you eat out and you get like a nice meal, like, bruh, like you're at least gonna spend $25. $25 times 7 is, what is that? Like it's like $175. It kind of balances out, but at the same time, that's just per one meal. So if you eat out 2 times a day, that's like $50. That's $50, bro. That's $50 you could be using like to, invest. And so that's why, and also like, thing about eating out is like the food, like it tastes good and stuff like that, but at the same time, like it's so much better when you make your own food, like you control what's going in it, and like, just, it just makes you feel better. Like, I mean, to me, and I like the way that I can season my food. Like, I like the fact that I know what's going on, like, in what I'm making. All right. And so, just that saying, every little bit counts when it comes to saving this money. So, we're just trying to stack up, get the bread right. So, get that money and be financially fit. All right, so prioritizing high interest debt. That's the third one. If you have high interest debt, such as credit card debt, prioritize paying it off as quickly as possible. High interest debt can spiral quickly out of control during a recession, so it's essential to tackle it head on. And that's very key. Like, it's important to like look into these things, like whenever you're getting into like a credit card agreement, like the actual rules, the APRs, like the promotionary periods. So like usually they have something where you can get, if you spend a certain amount in 3 months, then you get back such and such points. Usually like about like $200, something like that. But you see what I'm saying? Like some incentive, and that's also based off economics. There's always like an incentive in something, but then there's also that drawback that you need to be aware of. And that's what happens like when it comes to being financially fit. So it's important to prioritize that high interest debt, because oftentimes like credit cards can give you that that immediate boost financially, but then you're gonna have to be able to pay it back. And if you don't pay it back, like that interest is gonna, like, you know what I'm saying, it's just gonna pile up, give you a lot of unnecessary stress that you don't need. Okay, we don't need that stress. We don't need that stress. We don't. And that's exactly why we're going to get financially fit. So, just do your best to pay off those credit card loans. And honestly, just what I'll really say is don't even use your credit card for like, okay, I'm not going to give you financial advice. I'll just say it really interests me to not use my credit card on big purchases. That's what I'll say. Okay. Consider refinancing debt. Okay, so if you have mortgage, student loans, or other debt, consider refinancing to take advantage of lower interest rates. This could help you save money on interest payments over the long term and reduce your monthly payments. Okay, so like I have student loan debt right now. By the grace of God, it's not that much. And thank you, shout out Joe Biden, for the initiatives that you've been taking and the entire government on that behalf. You guys have been, freezing the student loan debt. I hope that you just ultimately, come to a great solution for, everybody involved, and that, it could work out for everybody. Hopefully, there can be some reform in the education system. Maybe something like, I don't know. I will have to think about the real proposal about what I really think should happen. I'm not gonna say education should be free, but what I will say is we have to think of ways to make it so that education is not so expensive. And so, maybe placing more of an emphasis on, I don't know, or bolstering entire communities so that bolstering all communities so that the education is not, bolstering all the communities so that the price of education can, remain where it be, or if it goes a little lower, just making it so that everybody has a level playing field to the point when they get ready to go to school, they can say, okay, well, I've learned this in high school, I've learned this in my community coming up. That way, if I don't want to go to school, then I don't have to. But if I do, then, I'm willing to spend that money. But baseline, we've made it, life is not fair, but we've made it the fairest that we possibly could, to the best of our ability, so that everybody is on as close to level ground as possible. That's what I say for the educational system, because I know that economically, you're paying for value when you go to a certain school, like the experience, all these things, not necessarily the educational, but the experience. You're paying for the experience. But what we do need to address is the fact that education across the board should be more fair, and it should be more, equal, to be frank. You know what I'm saying? So that's my take on that. All right. Now, look for ways to increase your income. This is something that, I think you should do. Personally, I feel like, building a YouTube channel is something that I'm interested in. Ultimately being able to monetize this message is something that I'm grateful for, and something that I'm working on doing. And, because the thing is that during a recession, it may be more difficult to find a new job or to get a raise. However, you could look for ways to earn extra income, such as freelancing, selling items online, or taking a part-time job. Every little bit of extra income can help during tough times. So this is a thing, you could do things like this. Get into creative things. They could help, because you never know. You may actually really end up being good at something, and then it could be your full-time career. But what I say is just look at it from the holistic human perspective. We embrace the entrepreneur's mind, the entrepreneur and creative mind, the athlete's body, and the artist's soul. So, if you could get into one of those three things, the sky's the limit. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. All right. And now, number 6, investing in low-cost index funds. While it may be tempting to sell off your investments during a recession, it is important to remember that the stock tends to recover over the long term. Consider investing in low-cost index funds to diversify your portfolio and take advantage of potential growth opportunities. All right, so that's the thing. Like with investing right now, this is not financial advice, but just what I will say is it may be a good time, if you have any excess cash or once you start building these additional forms of income, through the freelancing, and you start to chip away at that debt, like all these things, then that's when you can start saying, okay, like I'm gonna put some into the market, like I'm gonna start investing before everything skyrockets. And we'll stay abreast of those type of topics when we touch base for Financial Fitness Fridays. And so we'll do our best to be able to cover that topic. But I will say, all these things, they connect together. So definitely look into doing that. And now stay informed and flexible. And the way you stay informed and flexible is by, tapping into this channel. I'm going to do the best that I can to be able to provide you guys with current up-to-date information. But I'm just going to work on right now being consistent with the Financially Fit Fridays. So we got that, and then check out like different forums, like I enjoy Clear Value Tax. I really enjoy like just watching his channel in terms of like him educating, and then also him just like being entertaining. He's kind of funny. I feel like his dry humor is funny. It's cool. So that another forum that I like to read is Forbes. So I like to read that forum. NerdWallet is good just to be able to like give you tips just overall for finance. So I like that. And then Netflix, like how these things work, like how money works. One of the things that I did suggest is cutting back on Netflix, and I don't think you should do that. Just like work on time management. All right. And so there you have it. And that's really it, man. These personal finance tips, they may be helpful during the recession and the situation that we have ahead of us. Okay? And it's never too early or too late to start putting these things into practice. But you always have to remember to do what's right for you, because, you may have the ability to just do whatever you want. And then in that case, hey, that's just what you figured out how to do. And we all have that capability. I just feel like this is a great way for us to be able to be practical, taking practical steps, to get to where we want to get to. And so by taking these steps, you can better manage your finances and come out on top and come out victorious and be a winner and be a champion. And that's what this community is all about. The Holistic Human Community is all about being a winner and being champions. And that's what we're building over here. So if you're part of that, I welcome you with warm, open arms. I just want to give you a nice hug, okay? All right, man. So thank you for watching, and we will see you at the next one. Peace.